transformation cycle usually tends to follow as such. At the top is a bulk, and then we move into a recomp, then into a cut, and then into a maintenance phase. Now, the reason why we've done it in these successive stages is because each one leads into the other to help give you momentum to drive better results in that phase. Most women only go into a cut because that's all they understand, because that's all they tend to want, is they just want to lose body fat, and so they go into a cut. But the problem is they don't understand that if they were to complete and go through some of these other phases in successions, their cut would actually drive more results, they would lose more body fat, and they would actually feel stronger and feel like they have more energy, and they would feel like they look better, and their transformation was actually a lot better than if they had just lost the body fat. So we usually recommend when you're first starting out that you should consider going into a bulking phase. Our very first challenge was this last fall, and the focus of it was a bulk phase. As this is the New Year's challenge, we are focusing out in the recomp phase. The next challenge will focus being in a cut. We also do further education about what it's like to be in a maintenance phase and how to maintain your current body composition when you've gotten a good transformation. The reason why we would recommend going into a bulk first is because most of the time, people who haven't been in a resistance or strength training program before, or haven't been training for a very long time, actually will benefit a lot from putting on muscle mass, whether they believe it or not. Even though your main focus and desire may be to lose body fat, you're going to get more results if you focus on a bulk first. We're going to talk about this in the next video, but let's just move into recomp. We then recommend moving into a recomp because after you've built strength, it's really good to start slowly trailing your calories back, but keeping your training intense. This will help you start to the first stages of losing body fat. Once you've finished recomp, you've built on a lot of muscle, you've started to lose some body fat, you're feeling stronger, and your function is actually going up. You're actually in prime condition and ready to move into the cut phase, right? Because now we've increased our metabolism, we've increased our muscle mass, and when we go into a cut, we're ready to lose a lot more calories a lot faster than if we started with a cut. If we had started with a cut, most of the time, your metabolism is not where it should be, and so it's naturally more difficult to burn more calories. It makes it more difficult to burn more body fat. And on top of that, if all you do is lose body fat, then all that you are is a smaller version of yourself. We want you to understand the importance of building muscle first, and then as we lose the body fat, there's something underneath that body fat just besides bone. There's muscle, there's the toned look that everybody talks about and looks for. And this begins with a bulking, a recomp, and then moving into a cut phase. Now, a cut phase can be difficult, and so we don't recommend for being in a cut for too long. And that's usually when we're able to slowly increase our calorie intake. We're able to find a happy medium in our training program and hang out in a maintenance program. Maintenance programs are usually for when we're in between stages, when we can't devote as much time to training or to being hardcore, sticking to our macros, but we can still just make sure that we're kind of in the ballpark. And that will help us maintain our current transformation that we've already gotten. The reason that we use a cycle is because even though a transformation can occur in as short as 6 to 8 weeks, we know that it won't be a lasting transformation unless we continue to move into different phases of training. If we stay stagnant or if we stay in a training phase for too long, our progress usually will actually slow, and eventually it will plateau. We won't be able to increase our weights or our resistance. We'll stop our body will stop transforming, and then you'll wonder why you can't get any more results. And the reason is because your body likes to find a set point. We call that set point, we call it homeostasis. Now, as we work through the transformation cycle, this is kind of why we talk about the transformation cycle occurring over a span of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. When me and Megan first started training, we wanted quick results, but we also really quickly learned a couple things. One, it becomes really fun to train, and now we absolutely love the gym. We love the mindset that we've built, and we love being able to do hard things when it's not easy. That's something we'll talk about and you'll learn later. But the other thing is that we're learning to love the journey and the journey of transformation. And it's so much fun to look back at where I used to be 5 years ago and where Megan used to be 5 years ago, even Megan from 1 year ago, because she's been in the process of having children, and the demand for her to be able to train for pregnancy, for having a child, for after pregnancy, and then slowly getting her body back in shape. It's absolutely incredible what she's able to do in the process of a year to a year and a half in between our children. And I think that's a problem that most women face, and it becomes really difficult if we're not on top of these transition phases in and out of having children, because the more children that you have, if you haven't adapted and been able to get stronger and maintain your current function and body composition, it gets harder and harder and harder the longer that you wait, because naturally you're just going more and more years without training. You're going more and more years with your body at a certain set weight, and then sometimes it'll increase after one baby and the next and the next, and it compounds on top of each other. So we want to help you understand the transformation cycle, figure out how to utilize it in your life so that you can start to transform your body and be able to work through these transition cycles in and out of having babies.